Hello dogs, Lildawg right here right now. Welcome back to Magical Eyes Red is for Anguish. Here we are, back in Yu's room. Say, big brother. Yeah? Mom says you'll have lunch on your own today. Okay, got it. I know my mother and the two kids are going out today. Hamburg steak. A steak prepared from ground meat, chopped onions, breadcrumbs, and eggs and some seasoning. The food is one of the most fabulous partners with white rice. This is nothing more than a writer's personal view. Okay, I'm going to say this again. Hamburg! You're already that excited this early in the morning? Are you guys getting Hamburg steak for lunch? Yeah, we are. They say it's super yummy. Mom knows a great restaurant. She says she and Dad went there before. Hamburg! Alright, take it easy, you little bundle of energy. Comes with fried prawns. Western-style dish invented in Japan. As its name describes, it is made by frying prawns. It offers you such a splendid gustatori experience along with tonkatsu sauce, a Japanese-style barbecue sauce. But you can see its genuine worth when it's served with tartar sauce. Isn't that the most awesomest thing? So soft it will melt in your mouth. That sounds super good, yeah. You should come with us, bro. I wish I could, but I've got a ton of things to do. To hear what Nanashi has to say about the doll's picture, and I need to check in with Pops on the status of the investigation. Work? Yeah. Okay. Let me know how the food is. If you like it, I'll come with you two next time. Bro, there's no if. There's no such thing as a bad Hamburg steak. How much trust do you place in Hamburg steaks? I'm pretty sure the cook at Something Yummy would make the worst Hamburg steak yet. Even he could definitely cook a good one. I doubt that. What the heck is with your love for Hamburg steak? If he could, that would be a divine food. I remember Jude being very excited to have Hamburg steak for dinner before, but never knew he was such a passionate devotee of it. Say, June. Yeah? Which do you like better, me or Hamburg steak? Huh? What are you asking all of a sudden, my sister? Well, you what? Yeah. That would be HAMBUUUUUURG, of course. June, you got them mixed up. I can see the conflict leaking out of your mind. Just turned my sister into someone like one of the world's most famous movie directors. I'm not eating Hamburg steak ever again. Shizuku, you're feeling jealous of the wrong thing. What's the point of pitting yourself against food? Did I skip something? What up? That was the wrong button. Yeah, we were, whatever that was. So if June loves it too much, I think, that'll probably be trouble for me. Yep, I clicked the wrong button and now a window popped up. Give me a moment. No. I didn't catch that because I clicked. Huh? Is it Ren who said that to you? Yeah, and that cool lady. They say they sometimes eat each other up. Yeah. Okay, I really need to have a talk with them. Okay, I get it. I don't have to understand. They basically said something they're not supposed to. I'm warning them so hard. Chiharu's apartment. Wasn't able to see Emikawa at school yesterday, but I did see him in my dream last night. Going by the theory that you dream to organize your memories and emotions, it happens a lot because my every thought revolves around him. Every night for the last 3 years, it has ended in one of two ways, dreaming of him or having a dreamless sleep. Emikawa is the only one that can disturb and ease my mind, both in reality and dreams. Thanks to the dream, last night's agitation is now gone, and I'm having a fairly calm morning. I've had a similar experiences before. What happened yesterday was a little more shocking, that's all. I really want to keep our relationship going and be of much more help to him than ever before, so I can't let myself drag this anxiety with me any longer. I need to go about my business as usual during this vacation. I'm practically certain he had to skip school yesterday because of that thing. It worries me, but there's almost nothing I can do for him at the moment. At the very least, I'll do my best to cheer him up even a little when I see him at school again. Luckily, I'm going to be busy starting this afternoon. It's next to impossible for me to stop thinking about him, but if I focus on the stuff at hand, time will probably go by quickly enough. If I treat whatever I do from now on as a step toward getting to spend time with him, it should be easy to stay motivated. Alright then, let's start this morning off with some household chores and schoolwork. That was a quick little scenario right there. Let's just check the other areas just to make sure. Okay. Ramen shop, the noodle graveyard. My throat's still feeling a little bit scratchy, so I'm not really going to do too many voices. And Pop's voice is the hardest one to do. Hey, Junior. She is for Shiokuji, right? A seasoning made by fermenting salt with koji, a dried fermentation starter in water. Even though the ingredient is rich in good nutrition, it is a little too risky to think about adding it to every dish that you cook like Pops does. That's close, you added an extra word. Aha, so it's just kuji? How did you end up with that? It's not a seasoning and doesn't even start with she. It was just a little joke to lighten the mood. There's no way I could possibly make such a stupid mistake like that. Denial. By the way, Junior, will you say that again so I can take note? It's Shio, salt. How can he not learn such a single word? So, you have any updates on the investigation? It's been only a day, how can he expect anything? Is what I'd like to say, but actually, I've got something. Easier just to show you, take a look at this list. He takes 2 pieces of paper out of his sleeve case and holds them out toward me. The list was only 1 sheet yesterday. It makes it seem heavier than its actual weight. The new entries are highlighted so you can find them easily. Thanks a lot. The contents are basically identical to the list of the owners from yesterday. Although there are several blank sections left, the biggest difference is obvious. The list has grown in length. The doll must have been drifting around from one person to another for a long period of time than the investigations initially thought. The list is now 1.5 sheets long. 13 people. And they're all missing. I don't know, maybe as we expected? Hold it, Junior, not the right time to do that thing yet. My apologies, still it's quite a bit. To be honest, I expected fewer. How can I not be shocked that there are more than 10 victims and they've all gone missing? This doll could be much older than we speculated. The oldest owner is from 20 years ago. We've gone back so far that many of those involved only have vague memories and records. We can't even identify some of the owners anymore. You think this is going to get untraceable soon? Sooner or later. And because of that unheralded turn of events, the intelligence department seems to have pumped more members in the investigation. The department in charge of investigating gathering intelligence. Okay, that makes sense. Personally, I'm impressed that they've already collected this amount of intel. How did they do that when all the old owners were missing? Most of the sources are their parents, friends, acquaintances, and police officers who worked on the case. Also, there were apartment building managers or delivery men. Most of them sound okay, but why the delivery men? You need a delivery service when you want to get something to someone who lives far off, right? I see. You mean they checked on delivery records. Yeah, they deliver reliable information because they're delivery men. My bad. Oh, I get it. I'm fine. You don't need to let it bother you. I had no idea they were making that list with all the owners missing, but now I've learned about the source of the data. Speaking of which, there's something else I should let you know. Some of the investigators reported that they ran into people that have been asked similar questions before. Does that mean there's someone else following the doll like us? It's probably a relative of one of the missing people, trying to find out the cause of the disappearance, I guess. I can imagine that someone can't swallow the fact they lost one of their family. So can I. In the end, this list is the only progress we've made since yesterday, so there's nothing new about the knick-knack shop case. I wish we could have gotten anything about where the runaway doll might be at. Me too. Grabbing hold of the doll would be a big help. We could find out whether the doll has powers, as Nanashi suggested, a human being is behind it. That would decide the course of the investigation, and the image of my opponent would be clearer if only a little. Speaking of Nanashi, Bobs, did Nanashi contact you? Yeah, last night. I couldn't believe that punk when he said he only said he wanted materials on the doll and just hung up. He must be thinking of my shop as a mail-order shop or insurance firm. Bite me. I thought I got a food delivery request, for God's sakes. You sound like you didn't get him what he wanted. I did get him the stuff. How could I ever turn his request down? The middle-aged man gave a wry smile, indicating that he must owe Nanashi quite a bit. But what does he want to do exactly? Does he want to get involved in the investigation or something? He promised me he would help us identify the doll, that's all. Whatever he wants you to do, he's willing to take part in a human society case. Just what sort of deal did you make with him? Is it your soul? Did you sell your soul to him? No, he seems to be giving us support free of charge for this case. Ha ha ha, nice one. Nanashi helping free of charge? Ha 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 ha. Don't worry, he says it'll benefit him too. If the doll's a material variant, that's pretty rare, which is why he wants to look into it. Ah, that's how you fished him up. Him working for free, so impossible that pigs would sooner fly. How did you get from him so far? He says the doll could be a material variant, which is no surprise, but it might be a human that's behind all of this. Interesting. In other words, someone like us might be doing this. He also says there's a possibility that the doll itself is special and the human could be just anyone. I see. Object or human, you're gonna have to fight either of them in the end. Simple and clean, I prefer it that way. So Junior, what's your next move? Aren't you gonna suggest to get some rest like you did yesterday? I gave that up the moment I handed you the extended list. I'm going to the city center to see Nanashi and Azuma. That cop's such a virtuoso. Tell me if you get anything interesting from him. Pops thinks the world of Azuma's performance as a cop based on his past accomplishments regarding variants. I know what cop means. I will. I'm considering visiting the knick-knack shop after seeing him. What do you think? If it were anyone but you, the answer would be no, but we have confirmed that none of the stop staff are kind or otherwise involved in the incident. I appreciate it. I will be careful not to disturb the other investigators. There might be some undiscovered evidence or clues still left there, or the culprit might have returned to the crime scene. Guess it's about time to leave. Oh boy, look at the time. I think it's snack time. You must be pretty hungry, Junior. I'm not. Guessed as much. Okay. Back to Nanashidu, and to encounter my favorite character again. I find Nanashi gazing at a piece of paper after entering through the door. Hi, what a surprise. It's unusual for him to not greet you to take the initiative in a negotiation. Thought it was about time you arrived. Pops told me that you got the files on the doll. Yes, I went through them, including the picture. So how did it go? Do you have anything new to share? I learned that my speculation wasn't that far off the mark. The doll is now more likely to be a material variant. You mean she's old enough to be one? Indeed, she has human hair, and I can tell she was made in the Taisho or early Showa era based on her building materials. She is not an Ichimatsu doll, which is generally a recognized Japanese doll category, but she falls among the living dolls. A doll made from wood or lumps of wood chips, the head and body and the forelimbs are made separately and the limbs are somewhat movable. Children used to enjoy playing dress-up with them. Then, living dolls. A finely crafted human-like doll that had been very popular between the end of the Edo era and the beginning of the Showa era. They were more used for exhibition purposes during entertainment performances rather than as an art objects, and most of them were discarded as people were getting tired of performances of that sort. For that reason, only few exist today despite their past popularity and volume of production. Living dolls? Of course, they are not really alive. They're dolls created to be as lifelike as possible. And the Yuzin kimono she's wearing looks damaged, but it's still quite masterful work. I wouldn't be surprised if she was prominently displayed or given special attention, which means she had a chance to turn into a material variant. Yes. Nanashi is staring at the picture with a delighted look on his face. I can infer that the doll must be fairly rare. But there's one thing that's, I don't know what to say. Is there some problem with the doll? I mean, if I put aside the possibility of her being a material variant, she's still odd. Are you saying that as a disobeyer? No, because I can only activate my powers with the real object at hand. I'm pointing it out based on general knowledge on dolls. Is it something even I can understand? Yes, the thing is, the doll's size. How does that matter? It interests me a lot, okay? If it were him, I would probably blame him for being thoughtless. There might have been a large number of injured or missing victims around the doll. Can't even imagine how tormented and saddened the victims and the people close to them must be feeling. But as a disobeyer myself, I can understand his enthusiasm that derives from our own uncontrollable emotions, even though the death trigger is different. I have a proposal for you. Why don't we help each other out on this case? Help each other? Do you want to get more involved in this? I'd personally love to sit down and examine this girl more earnestly. I want to find out where she was born and how she ended up in this case. Might be hard to figure that out. Pop said they may not be able to trace her history back any further. No need to worry, I have my own methods. So I was wondering if we could share information when you learn anything. You want information from me? Yes, and of course I'll share what I know and assist whenever I can. Okay, I'll ask Pops to provide you with our info as well. Thank you very much. Oh, let me make something clear. I want to know about the doll, not the case. I don't want any part of human soap operas. Yeah, I know. Talk about Lucky. That's perfect for me since I've been thinking about taking it upon myself to investigate the shop manager, the only surviving doll owner, and his surroundings. There won't be any problem as long as Nanashi and the intelligence department are at it. This is getting me so much fun. At a glance, his face is enough to tell that a non-expert like me will have no room on the stage. He's as excited as a kid who's just found a treasure map. So it tells you when there are scenarios available in other districts. Noodle Graveyard. Even during the lunch hour rush, this ramen shop typically enjoys a serene hush, but it does get the occasional visitor. The glass door slides open and two little shadows step in. Pops, I came to play with you. Hello. Oh, hey kids, just you two? The chef can tell they're not here to eat his dishes, but then again, this is not a place they would casually come to play. There are a lot of facilities on this side of the station that serve to entertain children. Mom told us to stay here while she's running errands for Dad. Aunt told us to wait here. Tama's around too, huh? Their simple replies answered the chef's question. It's understandable that Shizuku's mother, the wife of one of his best friends, has things to do on the street, and these two kids must be accompanying her for something else. We just went and ate some Hamburg steaks at Kamisaki Station and we're on our way home. They were yummy. Oh boy, what a bummer. I could have made you my lethal hamburger. Something tells me it would have been actually lethal. In contrast with his voiced regret, the shop owner never tries to force these kids to eat his dishes. It's not only because of pressure from those around him, but how he feels about them. They are both children of two of his two best friends, and he has been watching them grow since they were little. Since their fathers frequently go out of town on business, he is determined to care about them in their place. By the way, kids, your brother was here until a few moments ago. We know he told us he would this morning. He's working pretty hard. Totally, he's working hard. Seeing their carefree smiles, the chef breaks into a broad smile. He spent the past few days reading this heartening documents. It feels like the entire shop is filled with stagnant air. The kid's bright smiles have just cleared it up, or so he feels. Okay, you guys want to do something to kill time? Aren't you working right now? I want to play hide and seek. The two of us will be it. We'll be it. More seekers than hiders. That's a novel way to do it. As a man in his 40s, he's too embarrassed to let anyone else see him wholeheartedly play along with children. He's grateful that there are no others around at the moment. They called me a ninja when I was a kid. I'll show you two how good I am. And then we'll just go home without looking for him. We'll go home covertly. That'll break. That honestly sounds like something I would do. Not gonna lie. Just kidding. Given who your parents are, I'm afraid that it would actually happen. There were times where he fell for the practical jokes spilled by their fathers, but he decides to keep that a secret. If things were to go wrong, his spiritual injury would only grow. Say, June, I want to play red light, green light. Okay, give me a moment. I'm back. That would be fun to do here because there's a lot of stuff around. No running around in the store. Suzuka and June have their curiously mature side. Even though he just warned them, he knows they wouldn't do the kind of senseless things other children would. They called me the king of stoplights. I'll show you two how awesome I am. And we'll just keep sitting on chairs without budging a bit. For 30 minutes at least. That would make me a stupid middle-aged man who keeps turning around for nothing. Just kidding. It's the fact that you two thought it is terrifying. Again, sounds like something I would honestly do. These kids are even worse than their fathers. Reminding himself of his best friends, he feels afraid of how their little kids will end up in the future. Alright. Alright. Okay, so B. Peach at family restaurant. Even in this bustling lunchtime crowded restaurant, the long-haired man sticks out like a sore thumb. Sitting across from him, his companion is sporting an outfit striking enough to rival his impact. So you don't know much about him either, May? Nope. The young man admits amiably and takes another spoonful of rice porridge that you wouldn't think someone in clothes such as his would order. The one who introduced Sojima to me is a friend of mine. One puzzling thing about this young man is that he's actually very health-conscious despite having a face full of piercings, including his ears, lips, nose, and cheeks. You passed his request to me because it came from your friend. I get it now. I screwed up, didn't I? Maeda, usually being addressed as May by Suzunari, is the young man Suzunari and Kuri have entrusted with managing their online accessory shop. Contrary to his wild looks, he's a homebody who excels in information management and he's courteous to others. To gap between his appearance and personality is so huge that you could talk about it forever. Even though he distinguishes himself that way, he gets his work done with great subtlety and offers Suzunari and Curry a lot of support. Understanding their positions, all in all, he's a very likable fella. So did I guess. The other reason Suzunari agreed to meet up with that Sojima guy, in addition to the pleading of his beloved. Terribly sorry about that. Actually, I'm grateful now. I know he could be an important key. Chances are that he's a part of a variant-related incident that happened or is happening around here. The encounter of Sojima might prove to be a considerable advantage in the future. Maeda, however, takes his employer's general opinion as word of comfort, hunching up with a strong sense of regret. I guess I've got you in some trouble. If I put you in danger, I just don't know how I should apologize to Curry. What are you talking about? Trouble is our business. Seeing a 180 centimeter tall man cringing like this must be quite the peculiar sight. Well, to be honest, I'm not really excited about this case either. Will you tell me everything you know about him? By all means. He eagerly nods in consent and leaning over towards Suzunari as though about to charge into him. The situation of their garments make them look like just a bull and a matador. Okay, man, you've got to chill. So sorry, I'm desperate to make up for my mistake. It might be a little late to ask, but tell me how you met him. Suzunari only met Sojima because he had been asked to. He was too unmotivated to collect any useful information about that poker-faced man whatsoever. Sure, I think the whole thing started when Sojima talked to one of my pals. It was around a week ago. Maeda was told by one of his friends that he'd heard such a scary story from Sojima at a bar which both of them frequented. He said that Sojima gave him some horror story that took place in a condo. He usually gulps down all urban legends and spiritual phenomena, and that's what happened with Sojima's creamy story, too. He happens to live alone in a similar apartment, and later became convinced that he too heard strange noises or felt someone watching him, making a big fuss about it. Worrying about his intensely frightened friend, the kind young man tried to find a solution to cheer him up. I told him what you told me before, that 90% of those stories are just imagination and are valid explanations for them, and that even if it was really something supernatural, he'd better try to stay calm. Well handled. I casually suggested that I could ask someone to help him, someone who could handle it if something really happened. Then what? It relieved him a lot to know there was someone to depend on at a time of emergency. Maeda's response didn't seem to be wrong, because his friend was eventually able to regain his composure. But things took a turn for the worst after that. Since his anxiety had been lifted, he felt so good that he wanted to console Sojima in turn by relaying what he'd heard about the expert when they met each other at the bar again. Usually you would take that kind of story with a grain of salt, or say you might ask them for help just to be polite, right? But he didn't do either. Nope, he got so excited about it, my pal was overwhelmed. He then grilled him, asking where he could find the expert. Having witnessed Sojima's desperation, Maeda's friend and other bar regulars visited Maeda to call on him for support. My first plan was to act as a proxy between him and you, but he told you he really wanted to meet me? Yeah, he insisted he wanted to speak to you in person. That explains why you were so aggressive about it back then. He was trying to support his friend who was worried about Sojima. Natural enough for this fair and square guy. And that's why I don't know much about him either. I'm seriously sorry. Once again, the big man wraps himself in a ball of guilt bending down his head. On the other hand, Suzunari doesn't have the slightest intention of blaming him. No fault can be found in any of his judgments and actions. The only problem is the very man who needs the help, which is something that Maeda couldn't have known. Having been filled in by Maeda, Suzunari is still left with some mysteries. For one, why didn't Sojima even try to beg Suzunari, the expert, for support when he was turned down despite the fact he had desperately thrown himself onto Maeda's friend? For another, Sojima had already seen through what was watching him when he commented that it was different from urban legends or spiritual phenomenon. Which probably means that he had known what kind of expert Suzunari was, and that was the reason for his interest. In the first place, Suzunari cannot imagine a doll-like man being frightened by anything. I did a little research on him after you told me you wanted to talk about him. I thought that was the least I could do for you. Dependable as always, flexibility can be a strong suit in various cases. This young man does possess it. I found something weird. No one knows anything about him other than his name. Regulars at a bar. They may chat about random stuff, but it's mostly just superficial talk. Even so, it wouldn't be surprising to blurt out some personal information. So he's been careful not to tell anyone about himself. I guess you must be the one who's got the most because you know where he works. He could have even lied about that. My pal brought Sojima into this. Promised me he'll do some research on him too. He's a nice guy and simply worried that he cannot contact Sojima. Even though Sojima may just be using him, he's worried about Sojima purely out of passion. A nice guy's friend is also a nice guy. I'll let you know once I find anything out. I'm counting on you. Right as that topic wraps up, Maeda drops his last spoonful of rice porridge, seeming to have remembered something just now. By the way, Rin, should we talk about redesigning your website now? I brought my rough designs and reference materials with me. Even at a time like this, he never forgets what he's supposed to do, which only reinforces Suzunari's trust in him. I'm going to pass now. I'll wrap up this case quick, so let's get down to it when we both have more time. You got it. Maeda had earned considerable credibility with Suzunari and Curry for his sense of good and delicate work. Suzunari knows Maeda just wanted him to give a quick look at his designs and give a go-ahead just as always, but considering how much effort he might have put into his work, Suzunari can't allow himself to take it half-heartedly. Rescheduling for a later date will work out for both of them. With that done, Suzunari is going to need to fully focus on the Sojima case. Something crosses his mind and he wonders about his next move. Oh yeah, let me give you a word of advice. So this nice fellow won't get caught up in unreasonable misfortune. What is it? If you run into a doll in a kimono, I recommend you stay away from it. Oh, so they know about the case too. And then that's a new spot, and that's where I'm going to leave today's episode. Interesting so far. So 13 people. I think last time, the list had about 7. I think. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye-bye.